All right, hello everybody, and hello Enas. Today we're going to look at how to use a spreadsheet to carry all of the GIS information so it can be easily transported, sent via the internet, brought on a thumb drive, and so people can get the data to put on the map without having to do the mapping themselves. And then we're going to show on the converse how when you do the mapping yourself, when you add points or lines or polygon features, vector layers, how you can then save it as a spreadsheet or add it to a spreadsheet. Now it is a bit complex just because there's a lot of different manipulations that have to be done, but do not despair. Through trial and error and practice, you will get it. Also, we have here in our slide curriculum, we have this section here called storing shapefiles and spreadsheets, and we also have a section up here in it called using LibreCalc spreadsheets, bringing in your own data. And it all starts with the data that the High Atlas Foundation sent us. If you remember that table they sent us that has the links to the different projects. And I took that information off of their spreadsheet that you can see. That was in a table. It had hyperlinks to the Google Maps, and I simply typed it all in to this spreadsheet here in LibreCalc, which is like Excel. All right, so all their information is, and then I added my own information, places like the Zaytun Cafe where we ate dinner that last night in Marrakesh, the path we took from Cafe Zaytun to the herborist where we got the argan oil. It's written here, the path Enas and I took on our last night in Morocco, and we dined on camel meat. I got a silver tea kettle. So you put in all this information that you want for your memories. I have the websites of these places in here, and I've got the Ben Gurir. I've got the trinket stall where I got those little drums. So little things, train stations, stuff like that. Marmara Fruits Cafe where we ate in Ben Gurir, and the path that we took to get to the train station. So all that, including everything that the High Atlas Foundation gave us, is in this master evolving data table. Right? We want to get it onto QGIS. So the way that we would do that, if we were starting from scratch, literally, is we would encounter this blank screen, and the first thing we would do is we would say, I need a what? What do you need to cover the blank screen? What are we doing in QGIS? We're making maps. So you want a map. So we have this plugin called Quick Map Services, which is the fastest way to get maps in. And I've got all these different maps. I like to use Google Hybrid first, and I also like to bring in a Google satellite. And I like the satellite to be behind the hybrid so that when I zoom in on a place, the hybrid gives me the names, but the satellite just looks like the Earth from space. But the hybrid is on top of it, and it has all that other information. I can turn it on or turn it off. I don't want to have to zoom in on Morocco. That's a pain to see how do I find where we went and all that. And I'm not going to have to, because all that information, even if I'm way out here in the world, all that information is here in this data table. So since I have the latitude and longitude in this table, and I've got some shapefile information, I should be able to...
How did you get the shapefile?
The way I got the shapefile information, going back to what they gave us here, is these were links that they sent. So,
can you do one as an example of how you filled in that table?
Yep, and the best way to do it, well, they gave me hyperlinks, but let's just say that I don't have the hyperlink. I can look in here. If I want to look and find Akrish, for example, I can go to Akrish in Morocco, and here it is. There's the city of Akrish, and they gave me something where they had a site, like there's the cemetery right there. This is in maps.google.com. So I would just right-click on here and copy the latitude and longitude to the clipboard.
How many times you had clipped?
Every
Twice?
one. Well, just once.
Why did you say twice? You did it twice.
Well, I said right-click and it comes up, and then you left-click on this and it copies it to the clipboard. Then I was able to go into my spreadsheet and find Akrish, which is somewhere in the Akrish Nursery and Jewish Cemetery. I click on that line, go over to latitude and longitude, and then I paste it in first in coordinates, which were right here because it's a single field that it comes in as. So I can erase that and re-put it in. It doesn't matter. So let's go like this. That's what it came in as. But then
But changed?
No, that's the same. Well, it was maybe off by a percentage because it's a different part. So I go take this, copy this into latitude, boom, then take this and copy this into longitude.
So you have them together and then you have them separate.
Yeah.
Separate columns.
Because Google Maps gives it to you together.
Right.
And then I need to separate it to put it into separate longitude. And
But is it useful to put them in a column that's together?
Only for the ease of copying and pasting. That's the only reason. So that is a good question. So that's how I got this information. Same thing with the Women's Cooperative. If we go here, we know because we were there, we went down the hill and then up the hill. And then we know that as we came into the Women's Cooperative down the stairs there, the Women's Cooperative is right here. That's the building that we went into. And so there's no dot here. There's no way to find it because unlike a creche.
How do you know?
Because I remember because we came down the hill.
When we went to a creche, we did not go to the Women's.
We got driven. Yeah, we did.
No, a creche we did not pass. We went
the Carpet Cooperative under the olive forest.
Ah, yeah. That's
right. So that was right across here, and we crossed. This is where Nye went up the road, and he was playing and went to that family's house over here.
Right.
But down the road, the actual place was here.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So I can right-click there again and copy that information, go back to my spreadsheet and look for the Carpet Cooperative, and then paste that in here.
Yeah, you did that.
Right? And then I can paste those two into their separate.
Right. But they're not exact same, so you have to copy each separate now. Right?
Yeah.
And then, what's the goal of this lesson?
To bring this into the map.
Okay. The whole...
Everything that's in the spreadsheet needs to come in to the map.
Okay.
All right. So we have that.
To save.
And you save it.
That's a separate document in a different on a different drive on your computer.
It could be anywhere. It can be on the web. It can be on a drive. I have it in a folder called Spreadsheets and Attribute Tables, and it's called HAF Project Sites.
Yeah, nice calling.
Hold on.
Okay.
So we can also put pictures in the table like this. If we go and we select that photograph or right-click here and go copy image address, either way, when we come back to the table and we look at the Women's Cooperative, which is this row here, I have created columns for pictures and for documents and for web pictures. And actually, I do have that picture in there. It's under web pictures.
So can't you put upload a picture from your computer?
Yeah, but then the problem is if somebody else gets the spreadsheet, the path that it says there is to my D drive in my folder, and unless they put the same picture in their D drive in the same folder,
it has to be on the web.
completely aligned. Well, it's easier if it's on web.
Because if it's on your computer, they don't have access to it.
Have access to it.
And if it's on your website and you have privacy, you won't have access to it. It has to be public.
Right. But you can use Facebook, YouTube. I have a column for web pictures. I have a column for video tools. Anything that's public. Yeah. Unless there's a login, maybe they can log in. So I put YouTube videos here, and so I put documents and websites. You can put anything you want to. In fact, I have website as this column right here. Things like the Zaytoon Cafe and all that. All right, so that means that when you have that information in there, when you go to GIS right now, we should be able to get it to display. So you go up to layer and you add a layer that is a delimited text layer. That is the CSV. It's comma separated values, and it shows a little comma right there, comma separated values. So you can see the comma and you know that's what you need to add. So you go there and then you say, well, that's my file called HAF Project Sites. It was just updated, 356, tells you right there on this day. And you go like that and it shows you, go ahead. Okay, so you go to this data source manager when you are importing this data delimited text, and you want to make sure that the file format is checked to CSV for comma separated values, because you could bring in other types of spreadsheets, but that's the kind that we're using. In fact, when we were in this, we saved it as a CSV. We didn't save it as a spreadsheet or an Excel or anything. We saved it as text CSV. That's very important. That's how we save the thing. So that's how it's recognized. So that's what we're bringing in as a CSV. And the first record has the field names, but that's a default. Principality, village, blah, blah, blah. And detect field types is checked. These are both checked by default, but if for some reason they're out, you got to check them. And then the point coordinates, because we're bringing points first. There's a lot of information in this table. We have points, which is latitude and longitude, which is here and here. Those are for creating a point on the map, right? Two-dimensional point. But we have polygons, and we've got lines, and we got pictures, and we got web stuff. All we're bringing in now is this latitude and longitude. All the other information is not going to come in from this spreadsheet yet. But it is going to take in these columns that are tied to the latitude and longitude, but it's going to draw a single point. Understand? So when I go here and I say I want it to do point coordinates, it says, well, what's my X field and what's my Y field? And it's completely counterintuitive. You would think that the X is the latitude, because on a globe, if I take this globe, the latitude is going in what looks like the X direction and the Y direction is this. But in QGIS, X is actually the longitude and Y, X is the longitude and Y is the latitude. It's just backwards for whatever reason. So just make sure that your X field is set to longitude, because you can pick anything. It defaults to longitude, and Y field is set to latitude. It's just the way it defaults, which is good. We don't have a Z field. We haven't put in a third dimension in this part of the mapping yet. We're not there yet. So we just do point coordinates and make sure that that's set, and make sure that your data table did have fields called latitude and longitude. Even though in Google Maps and everywhere else, latitude comes before longitude and should be in your spreadsheet, the way you bring it in is longitude in the X field first and then latitude in the Y field. But that's a default. And then you just go add. Once you've hit add, ain't nothing happened. Like, what? It came up here. Where is it? You can see the dot. So what I do, the first thing I do is I double click on this to bring up the symbology, and I go to an effect drop shadow, which is easy to see. And then look, it's not in Morocco at all. And that's because of this thing called projections. The maps come in at a projection of EPSG 3857, and the data comes in as 4326. And so when it comes in over a map that's 3857, it draws in the wrong place. So what you have to do then is you have to right click on this and go to Layer Coordinate Reference System, CRS, and tell it set to 4326. And now it jumps up and boom, it's in Morocco. All right, so all that information, these are all the points that I've put in. Now, how do you know it's in those points? Well, one way is to make sure you selected the layer and go up to this information tool and say, what are you? And it says Mohammed VI Polytechnic University. And it gives all of the different columns. It doesn't have any pictures or anything. We haven't done anything yet with that. You say, oh, good for you. What about you? And I'll bet that's the Water Museum. And it says Water Museum. What about you? And that is the Semiramis Hotel. If you want to make sure of that, then you go here to scale, and you scale in at 1 to 1000, and you say, where did everything go? Well, you'd have to find that part of the map at that scale, and the best way to do that is to open up the attribute table, bing, and find the Semiramis Hotel, which is here, Hotel Semiramis, and click on it, and then go right-click, zoom to feature, and then boom, there's our hotel. Okay. Similarly, if you wanted to go to the Zaytun Cafe, you click on that, right-click, zoom to feature, boom, there's the Zaytun Cafe, where we ate. Right?
So zoom to feature is inside.
inside the
Map.
attribute table.
Not here.
No. So again, you would
Go do the
open the
tool.
attribute table. Say, where else do you want to go? Do you want to go to the Jewish cemetery? Or do you want to go to the Women's Cooperative? So we'll go to the Women's Cooperative. So you click on that, and you go zoom to feature, and boom, we are now at the Women's Cooperative, right?
Okay.
There. And here you can see that when I click on this, I put in web pictures.
Yeah.
So click here, and then it opens up Facebook, and you can see
Sure. Yes.
which is really cool. That you can cue that information in there. If we go to, again, we go back to the map here.
Yalla Nizy.
I got a video also that we made, which is right there. All right. So the map gives us access to all that. Go ahead and take care of 9 when you're back. So let me make sure that my video is on properly good. So when you have that, there's a bunch of different ways you can look at this information. You use the information key and you click on it, then it comes up as this table. But you can also go up here and look at it like this. So you see all the information. The other way to look at it is to go to the attribute table itself for the whole layer, and you'll see that you have all the information that was in your spreadsheet that came off of here. That's all now in here. The issue is, what about those paths and those polygons? Like if you go to the trinket stall where Nai and you bought those things, and I go zoom to feature, it says it doesn't have any geometry. It doesn't exist. And yet we know it's in there somewhere. If we zoom out on the map, and oops, if we keep going out and go up to Marrakesh, and zoom in on Marrakesh, if we come in to the area, there is the restaurant, and the trinket place was down the street here, remember? Somewhere like here. So why didn't it show up? Well, I didn't put a point in for that. I put in a polygon. So we have to get our polygons out of here, because if you look at this and you look at trinket stall where you bought that, and look, there's nothing under latitude and longitude, but there is a polygon under polygon WKT. And what WKT means, a well-known text. I don't know why it's well-known text, but it is. And that's what describes both polygons and lines. And we have some line information for some other things for paths that we took. So why didn't that come in? Well, we're bringing in at a time that data from the spreadsheet either as a vector point, a vector line, or a vector polygon. So we've already brought in all the points, and you can see them all here. I mean, even going all the way up to Ben Gurir. I mean, the points are there, but not the polygons. So we want to bring in the spreadsheet again, but this time as polygon. So again, we would go up to layer. We would go to add layer from delimited text layer. We'd pick the same spreadsheet, but this time, instead of doing point coordinates, we're going to do well-known text. And we're going to tell it we want to do the polygon, and then the geometry type is polygon. Because the only 3 types there are, point, line, and polygon. So we're going to do polygon, and it's in a field in the spreadsheet called polygon WKT. That's where I put that information. And then I have another field I created called line WKT. Okay. All right, so therefore, when I add that, now when I zoom in on, or I go to the attribute table for this, it's the same attribute table, but we're on the layer of polygons. So when I go to the trinket place, which is here, and zoom in, now it zooms in because it has geometry. So there's the place where you bought it, I think, and there's the restaurant. Right? Also, the other things that I've done polygons on that you can see is, yeah, so again, if you go to the attribute table and you open it, and you see like where is there polygon information in here. So web pictures, Oh, you know, it doesn't, because we're in that, it doesn't show the polygons. Isn't that stupid? It doesn't have that field because it's using that field. So I just have to know where I have some polygons because it's not, it only shows the line thing. So it sort of kicks out that information. But I do know that I put one into the train station at Ben Gurir train station. So if I go there and I zoom to feature, there's the train station.
Yeah.
And that's a polygon. But I also did a path because I wanted to show how you and I walked from this place here, which is a point, and I'd have to go to the points to get the information on it. This is the restaurant that we went to, Marmara Fruits, right? So I want to be able to show that how we walked from Marmara Fruits up to the train station, which is up here, that little yellow thing there. And you'd only get that information if you clicked on that layer, and it tells you it's the train station. So how do I get that information in? Well, it is...
Where is Marmara?
Marmara?
Where is it?
It's right here.
Oh.
Because the university was here. We took a taxi to there, and then you and I walked. We didn't go that way up. And if I turn off the hybrid, we did not go this way and then up that way. We cut up this way because there was that fruit stall right over here where you got the fruit.
I see that.
Right.
Then you put the line now.
All right. So the line.
You add the table again.
You can see that the line is in the table under line WKT, and it's got a multi-line string formula. Right?
What makes you? So how did you find the path?
I drew it. I'll show you that next. That's how you get stuff out of QGIS into the spreadsheet. Right now we're going from the spreadsheet into QGIS. And I have to show you how I had to draw the path, and then I put it out to the spreadsheet, and I'll bring it back in.
Okay.
Right. So here I go again for my third data type. I go layer, add delimited text layer, and then I go and pick the same project sites, but this time I say well-known text, but my geometry is going to be line WKT, and it isn't a polygon, it is a line. And then I add that. Now the problem is it doesn't show up because once again you have to go and say layer CRS EP4326. And once we do that, it does show up, but again it's a tiny line. So click on the symbology and let's use this one here and say okay. The one with the dots. And then you can see what we walked, because I mapped it out, that we walked down the street and we turned up here and the fruit guy was right there. And then we continued up, and if you recall, we came...
Park.
Yeah, right here's the park. Remember that we went through?
There was a market.
And there was a market, and then we came through and we continued up the street and we passed all that nice stuff. That's where the market was, and we went to the pharmacy, somewhere in there, and then we continued up until we got to the train station, right there. But it's not just this information that came in. Now if you look at this attribute table, I also have a path called path from Cafe Zaytun. So if I zoom to that feature, so we started out at the arborist, which you have to then click on this to get the information on, and there is the website. So here you can go, oh yeah, there's the arborist where we got in Paris. Okay. So we got that, and then you'd say, great, I see that, and we walked down from there, and we went. Remember, we turned left and went deep into the area, and we came around the mosque, and then we looked for the place, and we found this place here. Or maybe we came around the back of it, I don't remember. Right? So that's showing you that all the information that is points, polygons, and lines is now on the map, ready to be explored. And a lot of them actually have Facebook stuff on them. Some of them have photographs, but the photographs are not going to show up. I'll have to find the photograph and show you that it doesn't show up. Let's see if it's on this. Yeah, see there's photos here that are on my hard drive, and they're not showing up. And the reason they're not showing up is because there's no link made to them. So to do that, what you have to do is go to the project sites and the symbology and go down to manage custom forms, manage fields. No, manage custom forms. And see where it says picture?
Yeah.
I need to tell it needs to be an attachment.
Wait a second. في موزن هاي رحتوا للموزن.
Right, so you'd have to take the widget type and turn it, you have to pick the picture field.
Why did you do that? Can you go back from the beginning?
Yeah, I was just telling you that some of these have information that I put into the spreadsheet.
Can you?
So I've created 3 fields in the spreadsheet for photos that are on my hard drive. You can see them in here under picture 1, picture 2, picture 3. This one, this one, this one. They all reference the D drive and a specific folder. So this isn't going to be available for anybody else, as opposed to the web pictures, which are HTTPS, so anybody can get those. I also have documents on my hard drive that I'm able to access, but I have to tell the program where to access them.
So
it's not a hyperlink. So when I'm in here and I see that there's photos, I need that layer to be photo enabled. So I click on it.
What is this? That's the
That's
point.
the points, right? That's where I've put the
You
information.
go to each layer and
Activate
modify it.
If it has that information.
So what?
So picture 1, the widget's got to be an attachment, and it's got to be use a hyperlink, and then it's got to be.
Each vector data has pictures.
If I put them
or
in.
Media.
If I put them in.
And you're gonna go to activate them.
Yeah. So I integrated document viewer as an image, and then I say apply. Then I go to picture 2, and I do the same thing. Attachment. I need to use a hyperlink, and I need to go to image. Apply it. I need to do the same thing with picture 3. And if you've done more pictures than I have, then you need to do that for every one of them if you want to be able to use them. I don't know. Not that I know of. Okay. And then image there. And then I have documents in some of them. Yeah. So when I go to documents, I'd have to do the same thing. I go text, I go attachment, and I'd say use a hyperlink. And then the content is a web view, maybe. So I hit apply, and then I say okay. And then when I go to this particular point, nothing still seems to show up. Why? Because I have to go here to view features form, and then bang, there's my pictures. And there's hyperlinks that I made so I can get right into the picture, see?
What about the attachment, the document?
This one doesn't have a document attached. We'd have to find one that does.
You just activated the document.
I did, but like this has a photo, you can see. So I would go up to here, and I'd see what the photo that's on my hard drive is, and I can click on it. So that's fine.
It has done that. I want to see the document.
So the document, I'd have to go to where I have a document. I think I have one in the Akrish Cemetery, which is in City Fadma, actually. So Akrish is.
More in the desert.
Here's Akrish, okay. Akrish Net Nursery. All right, so that has a document. It has web pictures. It has videos.
And you don't have to.
Well, I do. If I want to get to the picture, I do.
But what about the document?
No, I need the document also. So to that, I need to go up here, and then you can see the document is. That's a picture. Here's a PDF. So this is on my hard drive, and it's referenced.
But it's a PDF, so you kind of uploaded it.
No, it's in my hard drive. It's just finding it on my hard drive.
Somebody else cannot open
They would
it.
not, unless the PDF was online.
Or on their computer.
Or on their computer in the right folder.
This is where we went with Tilly and Ava.
You're quite right, Nye. Well done. You're quite right. All right, so But it just shows you that the map now has that power to put all that. And now the web doesn't show up as a hyperlink in this document, but it does show up as a hyperlink here.
Daddy,
So if I wanted to look at the video.
Daddy, you just showed us where all the place where we went to kill with all
Right,
the
with these graves. There's the grave right there, right?
The grave right there.
Yeah.
So this video, you put a link, just that?
Yeah, the link is right there, video 1. There's another link, video 2. So that means that the QGIS program has the power then to display points, polygons, and lines, and have hyperlinks that are all stored in this website. The then question is, how do you get stuff into the spreadsheet? And the way you do that, which is the next great thing, is a little more complex. So let's say that we want to show Agadir, and we want to show where that university that Dr. Adnan came from, right? So we have, our first thing that we put in was a quick map services, and we have a map. So that we got. The next plugin I put in was geocoding, and Agadir should show up. Agadir should show up here, and it does. There it is.
We did not go there.
No, but I want to put it on the map. That's where he came from. So there's Agadir, and I can take that geocoding plugin results, and it hasn't been saved. So I can go, file name would be, I'll call this right now, Culhane locations of interest, and I will make sure that it's in that folder. In here, Culhane locations of interest. And the geometry is going to be the default geometry, because right now I'm going to do points. Okay? No, I don't touch my arm. All right, so to find Agadir, oh, did it disappear on me? It may have disappeared. Oh, naughty. Well, that and maybe I didn't want to save it just yet. So let me remove this and do that again. So again, you would go geocoding under plugins, geocoding. Now you blocked my arm. So here's Agadir, and that showed up. That's the center of Agadir. And let's just, while it's on the screen, let's make it easy to see.
You just went to Google Maps and looked at it?
No, I just used geocoding and typed in Agadir.
Where is geocoding?
Under plugins.
Plugins, you went to geocoding.
Right.
And you wrote, you made sure it's the same spelling, right?
Yeah.
So how did you do that? You went to Google Maps outside?
I just knew it. But if I want to find his university, then it won't show up.
It has to be the same way it's on Google Maps.
Right. So if I went into Google Maps and I said Agadir University, it isn't actually called Agadir University, so it's not going to show up. But what does show up is Ibn Zor.
Ibn Zor.
Right? So that's the one, Ibn Zor. And creating Ibn Zor, since there is the point, Faculty of Science.
Copy the,
right. I can go to here. Well, I can do Ibn.
Copy the spelling. Is that how it's written on Google?
Yep. Let's see if the geocoding in this works for that. So we'll do another geocoding moment here. And there it does not show up under Faculty of Science, but it may show up under Ibn Zor. And it says there's several of them. So you look at it and it says Ibn Zor Street, which is in Morocco. There's Ibn Zor Street Administrative District, and then there's someplace in Tunisia.
Oh.
So we probably want the
It's not a street, though.
No.
See, that's exactly it says.
Let's see. That's where it shows up,
But if
which
it's
is
a scene, it should be
way
a
far
line.
away. So that's not the right place.
ناي فتش
And maybe
بالسريع
it's
على
not really
بنطلون.
known as Ibn Zor. Maybe that Ibn Zor Street.
ما شفتك عم تفتش بالأول. You have first to look for it.
So you have to know what it is. And that's why sometimes it's easier, rather than trying to do this, if you simply right-click on this and grab the coordinates,
Right.
then while we found Agadir that way, we could go like this and type in the coordinates and make sure we zoom in and then go to those coordinates. There's the actual Ibn Zor University. But then we have to put in the point.
You have to decide where is exactly the building.
Yeah, so then you go back to your Google and you see that it's Faculty of Sciences. As you come in above the amphitheater, it's this building here, right? So you go back to here and you say, okay, come in, this building here is the Faculty of Science. So we want to put a point on the map. So to do that, we would create a layer, and we're going to create a new geopackage layer that we're going to call Culhane Points of Interest. And the geometry type is going to be points. And we are going to make a field for it, which we're going to call name, and add it to the fields list. And then we're going to make a field called latitude and add it. And we're going to do a field called longitude. And when we have those and we create this, we now have a Culhane Points of Interest thing. And I go up to the pencil and I go to the points to activate them. And I say, I'm going to put...
Where did you activate the point?
Right there.
All right.
And I'm going to say that. And I'm going to add in Ibn Zor Faculty of Science. And I don't have a latitude and longitude yet. Now, you could say, well, you do have one because you got it from Google Maps. That would be one way to do it. But there's another way to do it if you didn't know it from Google Maps. Once you're on here, of course, this has latitude and longitude. So let me take this points of interest, and maybe we can make it easier to see. Right, that's the point of interest there. How then do I get the latitude and longitude into my spreadsheet? Yes, I could make a column in here, and I could go to maps.google and I put it in. That's fine, but there's an automatic way to get it in from here, and that is to take this Culhane Points of Interest and open up the attribute table where I don't have, and I can't type in latitude. I mean, I could type in latitude and longitude, but I don't want to. I want it to do it automatically. So I go up here to this calculator, this field calculator, and I say I want to update the existing field, and I want to update latitude. I need a function that I can update it with, and the function that I have is in the tutorial here, because I never memorize these things. It's actually in this part of the tutorial. It is for latitude, it is y transform. It's this here. Right. But now there's a potential problem. It's going to be 0 field length and 3 precision, and it's going to suck. So first thing I do is go to create new field, which I'm not really going to do. Go to decimal number, tell it that I want the field length. Huh?
Doesn't that you?
Oh, I need an output field name. So stupid. Latitude. Why isn't it letting me do that?
What about update? Is it a...
Well, I'm doing this, but it's supposed to give me access to this.
No.
I do decimal number, and I have this. So sometimes when something goes wrong like that, you say, you know what, create a new field,
already edited?
No, yeah, but it's supposed to let me
create it first, then you edit it.
Yeah, something's going on funky though. So maybe I didn't save it. That's what it was. Okay, it had to be saved. Always. Now let's try it. So you go here and you say, hey, you know what? I want to go to decimals. Still nothing? Okay, let me close this up. Now let me try it. Still not letting me do it. It says you're editing information, but it's not in edit mode. If you click OK, edit mode will automatically be turned on. Maybe I need to close this and then open it again.
Yes, can you stop recording?
Wait till I see if this is going to work.
I mean, you stop recording and try to figure it out, then can resume.
So we're going to try to make it decimal number and not mess with the output precisions by updating the existing field, which is the latitude, and then paste in that formula that we got, which is here for the latitude, which is in the using the y, and we will then put that expression in and then say OK and see if it will give us features. We're not looking at the table for some reason right now. It's there. Okay, so the latitude did come in, and it came in fine. So now we want to put in the longitude, and it's the same thing. Go to the field calculator, update the existing field. Make sure before you do that that the integer is changed to decimal number. Update the existing field, and it'll be longitude. This time when we paste this in, we want to change the y to an x, and that is indicated down here. If we want longitude, it tells you to use x, but it's the same formula, just with an x instead of a y. And then when we run this, we get the longitude. All right, let's do another one, and then we'll show how we export this to the spreadsheet. Do you want to save that? Yes. You want to come see? So Agadir is not in that, and we have the point for the center of Agadir, and so what we want to do is, and Enas, you want to come and see this, we want to just put a point on top of that. And so what we will do, although actually knowing Agadir isn't as important right now, what is important is to see the cooperative where they produce the argon oil in Agadir. So give me a second to find that. So we want to find one other thing in here, and that is we want to go to Google Maps and make sure that we find this cooperative of argon providers that is in Agadir, which is supposedly where it started. So if I come over here and I put in the name of the cooperative, it then takes us to this one here, the Women's Cooperative Tuadarte, right there. And it's a cosmetic store. And we will go and we'll right click on that. Once again, it's not far from the Faculty of Science. You can see it's the closest one to it. And then we would go to our GIS map, and we would go down here to the search bar and plug in the coordinates and double click. And maybe it didn't go because we weren't in the right format. Let's try it again.
What do you mean? You're going to a certain layer? You're adding it to a layer? Which layer you're adding it to?
I was adding it to the Culhane points of interest.
Like you did the university.
Right. And I'm not sure why then it's not magnifying. Maybe I need to be at 1 in 2500 and then go to it. So go to there.
Which color is coming?
No. Should be a big color. Should be yellow. But that's the Faculty of Science. So clearly there is an issue with this map. If I go to the offices and I right click and I get that and I come into here and I go to my points of interest on the map and I plug it in, erase it, and then go to it.
How many stars you should have? There's that one. That's the university.
Yeah, but it should be, that's the university for sure. So it's somewhere in here, but it's not. Oh, it doesn't have a star because I haven't placed a star. So here's the funny thing. The best way, because it doesn't place a star when you zoom in. If I go to 1 in 1,000 and then I go to,
You're having to place the star.
you've got to place the star. And so I need to look at the other map and really zoom in and see.
This one?
It's this building here, 1, 2, 1, 2, second building down from the street that has the black thing. So if I go back into here, I am going second building down.
Oh, that was there. Here,
No, it's here. It's down here. This one, second building down. Right? Because like there's the square, and it's up there. 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings. And there's a circle here. And so here we have the circle, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings, cooperative, right? So you would then go in here and you'd say, all right, fine, that's where it's going to be, the second building down. We're in Culhane points of interest. We go to edit, we add a point, and we make it right there. We call it the, that's the name is not that, the name is the Cooperative Agricole Toadarte. They have a website, and it seems to be taking a while to go. So cooperativetowardarte.com. It has Amalu products. Yay for that. And so the name, I'm going to just bundle the name and the cooperative. And we actually have the latitude and longitude that I got off Google Maps, but I'm going to let the algorithm do the same thing and see how close we get to that. So I'll say, okay, there's the point. Remember then that what we do is we open up the attribute table and we now have the name of that place, the cooperative, and I have off of Google Maps
attribute table you opened up?
the one to Culhane points of interest I'm using. But I haven't put the latitude and longitude in from here, but I'm going to see if the algorithm creates the same latitude and longitude that Google Maps gave me. So I go up to here to the field thing, update the existing field, go to latitude, paste in my,
I don't give this now.
I'm pasting in my formula, which is for latitude is,
oh, that's your Google slide.
Yeah, that's where I keep the whole lesson. So keep that, put that there. This is latitude. And I say, latitude, your expression needs to be that for y, and then run it. And look, it's the same. Oh, it didn't do it. Why didn't it do it?
No.
It says no. It shouldn't say no.
Did you save?
I said that it needed to. Oh, I know why. I think I needed to bring this to decimal number and then update the field and then go to latitude and then plug in the formula and then say, yeah, and it came in. And it is not exactly the same as the other, but it's pretty darn close. And then for longitude, I would do the same thing. I would come to the field calculator and I will make sure that this is a decimal number.
You did update, right?
I have to update the field. Is going to be longitude. And I'm going to paste this in, but this time I'm going to do X for the longitude value and say OK. And boom, that is very close to that one. So now that I have that and save this, I have two different points that I put in that I want to get into the spreadsheet.
So the first one was the university, right?
Right, Faculty of Science, and the other one was the Women's Cooperative. So now that I have those, I go and I right-click on Culhane Points of Interest, and I say Export, Save Features As, and I give it a file name, which is Culhane Points Exported, which I use all the time, so it's going to overwrite it. I keep the 4326. The geometry type can be automatic. The geometry, I'll just keep automatic default for this, and I don't need to add the saved file to the map. And I say overwrite the old file. Now I go into my spreadsheet here. I open up the Culhane Points Exported, which is this. I take these two things.
I don't understand what you went.
I exported it to its own spreadsheet. Now I got to integrate into the main spreadsheet. So I copy these.
Why do you need to integrate it?
Because I want to use only one spreadsheet for everything. Otherwise, you have too many spreadsheets to open.
And how would the program just know which layer was that? Which
it's going to pull in all the point information on one layer. It's going to pull in all the polygon information under one layer. Then I'm going to do it again to pull all the line information.
Huh?
I import 3 times. Points,
yeah,
polygons,
I know
lines.
that.
Yeah.
That's
So let me
it.
put it in here. Look.
Like,
I'm going to.
how would the program understand
Look.
the layers? That this is for TH's interest, points of interest layer.
It doesn't. It's everything is just coming off the High Atlas Foundation project spreadsheet now. I just did that to set it up. I was putting my points of interest so I could keep in my mind what came in from the spreadsheet originally
So what if,
and what I'm adding to it.
If you make a mistake?
I'm gonna have to go back and fix it.
What if you make a mistake or something for some layer and you wanted to delete it, and how will you recover it?
I'd rewrite it. So
but
like
then you
here, look.
Have information in the main folder.
I know, but look here. Look here. The main
Can
program.
you recover it from the main folder?
Main folder, yeah, because the main folder is what I'm going to fix. And look, I'm putting all right, look, just look. I'm putting the lat lons for those in this main folder. I have the Ibn Zor Faculty of Science. This should go under Agadir. And this should go under Agadir. Agadir, and this is Agadir. And this is Agadir. So assuming I did it right, the Ibn Zor Faculty of Science and this one here. Look, so I've got these in the latlon folder, right? I save this, and now watch what I do. Watch what I do. I'm going to get rid of these points of interest. I don't need them anymore. I used them, but I don't need them. So I'm removing the layer. Goodbye. Goodbye points. Okay. I'm going to go to my HAF project sites, which, as you know, has no inclusion of Agadir so far. The spreadsheet didn't have it.
This one here?
That one is. Oh, that's the geocoding plugin result, which we're going to get rid of because we don't need. That's Agadir itself, and we don't care about that. Oops, not rename layer. Get rid of it completely. There we go. Then what is that? That's weird. I don't know. It's an artifact. It's disappeared. It's an artifact. Sometimes the thing just does that. Maybe because I didn't save it. Oh, God. Oh, because it's a new file that we did. Anyway, it disappeared. Well, it disappears, then it appears.
Can you pause?
No, because I just want to show you what happens when I update. So watch, when I right-click and I say change data source, and then go to HAF project sites and say OK, and then reproject, bang. Now, as you can see, the whole thing has all the stars. These ones are in their right place. This one is the Faculty of Science, and this one is the Women's Cooperative.
And you can always add the images and stuff to the spreadsheet. Then you update it in the program like you did before.
And all we have to do, we have to cover now is exporting polygons and lines.
Oh, you did that?
No,
For
I didn't
the
export.
road
Yeah, I brought them
and the box.
in, I didn't bring them out. So I'm going to show you if we make a path. So let's say that we want to have a path to get from the university to the cooperative, right? That's legit. So I would go in to I'd make a new layer, and it can be a shapefile layer. And maybe I don't even, maybe I just go to add layer and add a vector layer. And I call it, what's the vector data set? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to create a new layer. So layer, create layer, make a geopackage layer, give it the name of Culhane polygons of interest, no, paths of interest. And then in that, the geometry is going to be a line, and we can include Z if it's there. And then I'm going to make name, and I'm going to make WKT line.
And then you have to choose the type line.
And then the type, well, no, the type here is text.
Why?
That's just what it is for this kind of thing. These are all text. So I say OK.
Why?
And then overwrite it because it just is. It's a text because it's going to say the letters line, and then it's going to have a bracket and a whole bunch of numbers.
I cannot pause. I need a break.
So now that we've created in here Culhane paths of interest, and you look at the attribute table and you see that it has name and WKT line. That's all it has right now. There's nothing in it. What we're going to do is we're going to enable editing of that, and we're going to draw a line. And we're going to say we start at the university, we walk out the door, we walk down the path, we go to here, we walk down to here, we carefully cross the street to here, cross the street to there, continue going, get over the highway to there. We get to there, and looks like we're blocked unless we go down to here, and then we're going to have to go to here, and then we're going to have to go to here, and then we're going to have to go to here, and then you then go from there, and where is it? Way down there. So then you'd say, okay, fine, walk along the road to here, come down this road to here, go down to this road to here, depending on how you walk it, right? Maybe you say, well, that's interesting if you go in this way, come down this way, and then to get to the cooperative, who lets you through? Does anybody let you through? Maybe not. Maybe there's no way through. So you may have to go all the way to this street here, go to here, walk across the crosswalk, and go down until you get to the cooperative. And then you right-click, and you say name path from Ibn Zor to Argonne Cooperative, for example, okay? And then the line you don't fill in yet, because we have to have a formula to do that. You see that? Oh, you're just... So you have to change the symbology so that you can see it well. There you go. And now that we have a path that leads from there to there.
I like this.
What?
Okay. This is it, right? Color will be, color should be.
Say okay. Okay. Great. So that's the path that has been saved in there. And these are the 2 points. The only other thing we need is before we export everything, well, we need to get the WKT.
Are you recording?
Yeah, I'm recording. So to get the WKT, we open up the attribute table. There it is. And you see that there's no WKT information. So you go again to the open field calculator, and you say to it, update that field. But before you do, it's text this time. Okay? And we're going to update the existing field called WKT line, but now we need a formula to do that. And that formula is found up in here when we draw the line. Let me see if I can find it again. There's the line, there's export save features. That's what it comes out as. Where's my calculation? I need to find my calculation for WKT. And if I can't quickly find it, then I would need to.
This is polygons.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. That's polygons. But where's my line feature?
These are the lines were above.
Yeah. Well, it's in there somewhere, and we're going a little out of sequence. So this is where I would go to ChatGPT and I go ChatGPT and say, what's the formula for the what did we call it? What kind of table is it called? Calculator, field calculator, to produce a line WKT.
I couldn't see any in the basket even though my head was in there.
Oh wow.
It's right there, geometry right there. So geom to WKT geometry. And that's what I'm supposed to remember.
That's the one?
Yeah, that's the one. So when you come in here, and that works for polygons as well. So you put that in there for the WKT line, and then you say OK, and you can see here it says line string and it has all these numbers.
Yes.
All right. So we have that, and we save that, and then we have to export. We're going to export that. So we right click on it, and we say export, save features as. It's comma separated values. The file name I'm using is Culhane Paths Exported, because I keep doing that over and over when I add new stuff. And I tell it that the geometry is WKT. And then I say, OK. And it's going to overwrite my previous file, which is fine. And now I go into my spreadsheet, and I have to find the Culhane Paths.
It's updated it here?
No, not yet. Not yet. It made a file called Culhane Paths Exported. And this one has only one column for it. It just has the line string. So I take that and I copy it, and I go into here, and under Ibn Zor, I'm going to put a path under let's find it, line, and there's Ibn Zor is which column is number 38. So if I'm in 38 line, I just paste that line into there, and then I save. Now, when I go back to my map, if I get rid of Culhane Paths of Interest, because I no longer need it, I'm keeping all of the points. They're already in there, right? But now when I want to bring in the line, I would go layer, add delimited text layer. I would pick my master file. I tell it now I want well-known text, and I want it to be from the line WKT. And the geometry type is line. And I say, good, add it. Now, you don't see it, again, because every time I bring it in, I've got to go in and I have to change the, oh, maybe it is in there. Let's see, which one did I just bring in? I really should get rid of both of these. Remove layer. Let me see. And let me go back, let's go to here. And let me zoom to the layer. And come in here. It has not put it in yet. Let's see if that's because the layer CRS is wrong. Nope. Something has gone wrong. So let's look at the attribute table. Oopsie. Let's look at the attribute table. And let's look at Agadir. And let's look at where it is. The line, it doesn't show up. because generally any line information, like I have one up in here, that disappeared too? Oh, it's not even showing our path from here. So something is wrong. Let's not rename layer. Let's remove layer. Let's do it again. Layer. Add layer. Delimited text layer. File is our HF project sites. We're doing it as a well-known text. Doing the line feature. Geometry type is the line. And let's try 4326 and see if that does something better. Yes, it did. And look, it's always that you can't see it because the symbology is messed up, and you like this to be red for some reason.
No, yellow or green.
That's fine.
No, I don't want it red.
Come on.
No.
No.
Green or yellow.
Green is yellow.
Green is
Green is
good.
yellow. All right. So that line is there. What about the one down in Agadir? There's also the line.
No, wait a second. Is that connecting both? Yeah.
This is the line when we were going from the spice shop to the restaurant. And then when we go down to Agadir, way down on the coast, there you can see that the line is there. So that's coming in off of the spreadsheet. The last thing that we have to do is learn to do polygons, which is very simple. It's the same procedure. And if we wanted to put this building in, then what we would do is we would go and we would create a temporary layer. It's a new geopackage layer, and we would call it Culhane polygons of interest.
Yeah.
And then the geometry would be polygon. Include that if it exists, but it doesn't. And then you have to put a name field. This is the minimum you have to put in. And you have to put a WKT. And then having that, you're going to overwrite the old one. Now, in that file, if I come in and say I'm going to edit it and add a polygon, I would put this building like that. And once I get to the end of it, I right-click, and then I put Faculty of Science, and then my WKT has nothing in it yet. So having that, I then go to the attribute table. It has nothing in there, and I go to the field calculator, and I'm going to update this field.
No, you did not update.
But it's going to be a string.
Text.
First, I have to do that.
What text?
Text string.
What is the other one? Was it text?
It was on integer. Integers are not going to allow the worst of the name line,
No.
polygon.
But with line, what did you do?
I also use text.
The same.
Yeah.
No, I know text, but there's only one text option,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. So then I'm going to update the field, and the field that I'm going to update this time is still the WKT, and I'm going to use the same order, geometry, that one, geom to WKT. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say OK, and you can see that it says now polygon Z, blah, 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 blah.
I see.
Right?
Yes.
Now that I have that, and I save it, and then stop editing.
You're going to add the other polygon?
Which other polygon?
For the women cooperative?
Oh, I could do that in the same,
building.
yeah, I can do that.
Just go back here and add it.
I mean, it's got a star on it.
Okay.
But yeah, you can add the polygon. If you're really interested in that, yes, you would go in here and you would
add another polygon.
add another polygon.
You have to draw it.
Right click and then say Women's Argon Cooperative and say OK. And then you go into the attribute table and you see it's not there, so you have to update it by going to the abacus, updating the existing field by first making it a text string and updating and putting it into the WKT field and then running that expression again, and then boom, it's updated that one as well. Save it, disable editing. Now come to this and say export. Save features as, comma separated values, yes. I'm going to use a temporary holder that I've used before, which is Culhane polygons exported. I'm just using it as shuttles to get the information in and out. I don't need a layer name, and here the geometry is WKT. That's it. And then OK. Overwrite the previous file, cancel to here. Now that is there.
Cancel to what?
Cancel. I don't need to have it display on the map yet. I'll display it once I get it in here. So I open up now the Culhane polygons exported. It's got 2 rows in it. The first one was the Ibn Zor, right?
Yes.
So that one here has to be copied and put in where Ibn Zor is, which one? Ibn Zor is number. Ibn Zor is 38. No? Here, polygon. So I'm going to put polygon. There's polygon. Right, so I'm going to do the same thing for the other polygon. I'll go back to the QGIS and I'll go back to my attribute table. Oh no, I don't need the attribute table. What am I talking about? I'm here and I have now this one that I exported. I'll grab this polygon and copy it. Then I can close this. I don't need it, and then paste that right into.
Can you delete that? Exported the table?
Yeah, or I just overwrite it.
Where they, right. It's just
right.
as you said.
It's just as I said. Right. So
it's
now.
Like a shovel. It's a shuttle attempter.
It's a shuttle attempter. That's a good way of putting it. So now all this information is here, and I can always add more just to the spreadsheet without using QGIS. I did save it. Yeah, save it right there.
Okay.
So now look what happens when we say, all right, I'm going to start a.
That's the last thing you're doing.
Yeah, I'm going to get rid of everything here. Like I don't want anything now. And I'm going to let you bring it in. All right. So.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you're going to start with a blank screen. And you're going to get every place that we've been to or want to go to is already on the map in Morocco.
Just get the map first.
Here, go ahead.
I don't want.
Yeah. This is the best way really to make a video is to teach live because then I see what is difficult and what isn't. So here
Plugins.
you need to go, well, you go to plugins except it's not under plugins because
Maps.
it's pulling the information from the web. So it's under web. Go to the right. Right.
Right web.
Under to web to quick maps.
Quick maps.
Yes.
Service.
Yeah, and then go to Google and then put in that hybrid first, and then put in another one that's a satellite.
Same idea.
Yeah. Good.
And then you said
you can turn off the hybrid if you want. Right. That's just for reference. All right, now.
Then we go to bring the Excel sheet.
Yeah, it's not simple. But the first, you're going to bring in points. You're going to bring points. So go to Layer.
No, but the points are in the Excel sheet, so why would I make points here?
No, you're going to bring them in from this Excel first. You're going to bring the points. So you go to Add Layer.
Right. And
add Layer, not Create Layer.
Wait.
Add Layer. Go back to Layer.
Layer and then Add Layer.
And then comma delimited or add delimited text. Yep. And then click over there. Choose the HAF project sites. Say open. And then you are doing point coordinates, so you're fine there. It's on just now you're okay for everything. Just say add. And then close. And it doesn't show up, or it shows up. Well, maybe it did show up.
It did.
Let's see. So zoom in on it. So right click and go zoom to layer. Did it show up really? Zoom out a bit. Zoom out a bit.
Wait a second. We're gonna put green.
And make it bigger than a few millimeters. Yeah, it did work. Good for that. So somehow it worked this time.
You want me bigger?
No, that's fine.
Snake.
That's all the points.
I think the color will be bright yellow. It's better.
Okay.
And then
now
we're gonna have to bring the lines.
So the same thing.
And this one, no, now we
Limited text.
the same.
Yeah, exactly the same file. It's just you're telling it now. You're telling it, I don't want to bring in points, I'm going to bring in well-known text. And the geometry field you want to start with is lines.
Line. Type is
line
line.
is fine. And then say add. And close. And then see if it got there by, if you zoom to layer, they're all over the freaking map. So you got to open the attribute table. Oh yeah, and you can also do that.
I want to make it
Use something
thicker.
That's big. Yeah, that's why this thing works really well. You can use that too.
Red is good, it's fine.
It may not. It may be so thin it doesn't show up.
No, it's not. This is not bad. Or this. This is or this. It's, if you want it thicker, I can make it thicker.
Not from there, you can't.
Huh?
You can make it thicker from here.
No, it is thick.
Width in millimeters.
But it's already
Let's see if
thick.
it shows up. Go ahead.
Just gonna change the color.
You can't.
Why
It's
not?
the emboss effect. It doesn't have color.
Yeah, we're just gonna make it
Oh, you'd have to do it in there.
apply. Okay. It's not good. It's dots.
Well, you'd have to zoom in on one of them to see. So you have to open the attribute table. It's not really dots. It's just a super thick line.
No, it is very thick. Shit. It's like a big worm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to change the type. No, this is fine. Here. What do you think?
It's fine.
So we have these polylines.
Yeah. Well, you open the attribute table if you want to go to a specific place. If you want to go to a specific path, open the attribute table.
Yeah, one
Right
of
click,
these
right
paths.
click, right click. And then find the path that you want to. But you don't know where there's a path. There's no path there. Paths.
But it is supposed to be.
If you want, open the attribute table and look for where there's a path. You have to look at the path and move this over. And then look at. Oh, it doesn't show. It doesn't show the value that is on there. You'll never see it. You'll never see it.
Polygon.
Yeah, those are the shapes. Those are not the lines. It doesn't show the shapes if you're in that thing for some whatever weird reason it is. It doesn't show, but you have to know where the paths are. You can kind of see them if you.
Right.
Yeah, and then but you can zoom in on it by going to there and then changing the scale.
Okay. I see. This is one of them.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's the one from the spice shop to the restaurant.
Okay. And then we're going to add the polygons now.
Yeah, so go ahead and do the same thing. Go to WKT. No, that, and then tell it you want to use the geometry field. Yeah, but you also got to pick the geometry field. It's called polygon.
Yeah.
Say add. Good.
Oh. What is this?
Well, that is that's the whole region that they cover. I want to be able to see, but it's.
That's insane. I was thinking there would be polygons.
They are. And there are polygons in there, but so you have to set a rule for this, and I have to remember how you set the rule. And I have it in
That wasn't the polygons we created. That's the area that contains the polygons.
Yeah, no, but see this rule here? It says, now the polygons appear, but the smaller ones are dwarfed by the one I drew to mark all of the areas. We need to open up properties and find a way to turn the large polygon transparent. so we can see the other ones. So you open it up and change it from single symbol to rules based. So you have here single symbol and you say rule based, and then once you have rule based you say to make it a big polygon transparent we need to know its ID. In the attribute table it's listed as row 24, but it's actually index 25. So at ID equals 25 and double click on it. So we'll make sure that it is in fact number 25 by going to the attribute table. Let's apply this first and then say OK. Now let's open up the attribute table and see which one it is. 25, I don't think it's changed. No, it has. 25, oh, 24, HAF study area polygon, which is number 24, but it's index 25 because it starts up at 0 and then it goes down. So that should work. So when we're in the symbology, now that we know this, we have to add a rule, and I think it is label filter. I think that's how you do it. Let me look again at this. You come up here and you say ID equals 25 in the attribute table. So we use the expression at 25 and double click on it.
This problem. What is this?
This is when you have overlapping polygons.
We did
So
not.
this simple fill.
Each polygon is each different buildings.
Yeah, but look, this one.
How do we have overlapping ones?
One of these, if we double click on it, we have to put in the filter. Test it. Okay, and then say OK, and change its opacity to almost nothing, and see if that does anything when we click off of this. We get off of, yeah. So that one is this. This one is this. So we're basically telling it.
You had some polygon was inserted. That's just the whole region. But that's what you were doing.
Yeah. I don't know. Why are these all these? What are these things?
Had a very huge one. What was that? It's a region.
Yeah, it's the whole region.
Why do you need to do that?
I just wanted to have a region that was showing everything.
It's good that's very transparent.
And that would be opacity. Yeah, so I made it transparent, see? Look. See how it's transparent?
Yeah.
So now you can kind of see that. But the other polygons, if you want to look at them, you would go to the attribute table.
Yeah.
You would go to the attribute table. And if you wanted to find, for example, the one we just did of Ibn Zor, you'd click on it like that and zoom to feature. Yeah, it didn't show up. Maybe it didn't show up because.
Did you make it transparent?
No, I don't think so.
Well, this yellow. What is that under it?
That's a point. That's a point.
Oh.
You made a point.
There was a point before.
Yeah, and I don't know if the women's cooperative shows up either.
No,
it doesn't.
It was a purple some kind of. Okay.
But that's you've got everything in, and for some reason, sometimes that happens.
Okay. But why does it open?
I don't know why.
Why is there zippers to open?
So these buildings are not showing up for some reason. And
Honey, if this is our part of our couch, then then you're supposed to know.
Nice.
I want
Okay.
you to
Put
be
it
a
on.
friend scale.
Okay. Bye.
So the other polygons do come in, but we need to work on how you separate polygons that are caught underneath other polygons. Like these things are really
What, Daddy?
we're trying to learn how to make the polygons disappear.
But mine's not there anymore.
No. Maybe it is ID 24. I don't. Let me see what we said. We set it to unit ID equals 25. ID equals 25. And then we have the triangle's transparent. So if we're in this, and we want to make this be, did we put in a filter? No, yeah, filter ID 25. And what lets us go to the trinket stall? The trinket stall is not showing up. I don't know why. Trinket stall seems to have lost its polygon, or it didn't have polygon features in there.
Breathing smoke, breathing fireball launcher. I can dodge them easily.
So come in, put in, add layer, pick this, project sites, comma separated, well-known, geometry field is the polygon field, and the geometry type
Took
check.
it off into the lava.
Maybe I need to put it in there.
I took it out.
Ah, now it worked. I think it was the wrong projection in us. It was the wrong projection because now if I go to the different project sites,
Which one?
it had to be 3827 or something because now when I'm up here,
Oh, down there you mean?
yeah, look, they're all back in now. There's that one, the Ben Gurion train station. Here is the student center.
Here was
No,
the
not there.
projection. Where was the...
So when I brought it, I'll take it out and show you again. So let me remove this layer. All right, that layer's gone. So I went into layer and I said to add layer, delimited text, went to the master file, which is here, told it to do well-known text, told it the geometry field was polygon, let geometry type be detect, but I changed it to 3857, which is what this is down here.
But we don't always
I know.
change it.
No, sometimes we bring stuff in as 4326. But somehow by picking 3857 and adding, now the information is there. See?
Interesting.
Same thing if we go zooming down to the Ibn Zor Faculty of Science now and zoom to feature, it's right there.
Oh, cool.
Although the map disappeared. Ooh, no, that's terrible. Look what it's done. It's got it in the middle of the ocean. Some of these are like, and that's in the middle of the ocean. Like some of these are correct and some of these aren't. And that's something we have to really look at, is why is the layer CRS, why is it so messed up?
I don't know. Why?
It says that you're supposed to be on 4326 in order to, here, now it's working. Dang. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Look.
What is it arbitrary?
Yeah, it's like you have to keep messing with the projections. And now it seems to all be working. At least it's working for Agadir, it's working for up here. And then this thing about transparency will probably work now if I do the simple fill and I need to go to rule based and then tell it filter ID 25 and tell it to be transparent. And it's thinking and thinking and thinking. It's probably going to crash the system. There it goes. Now that's transparent. But there's the paths are on there. Here is the path to there. And yeah, and then I'm missing data. Like some of these are in different projections than others. It's really awful. So some of them work and some of them don't. So if I go into here and I say layer CRS to 3857, no. 4326, no. It's a mess. It's having trouble with the projection systems. So that is what we're going to have to work through. Why is it not working sometimes? But we're getting the hang of it. Anyway, there's some kinks to work out that we will work out. So long.